the Great Race Place fires up a twin bill. Stewart Friesen, unstoppable. We take the white flag with a young gun out of the state of Connecticut. RPW, you just gotta watch. Hello and welcome to Race Pro Weekly. I'm your host, Mike Warren. With the rain out on June 12th, Albany-Saratoga Speedway promoter Lyle DeVore put together double modified features on the 4th of July weekend. Would an upset be brewing in Victory Lane, or would the usual suspects rise to the occasion?
Drivers, start your engines! Woo!
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik out there with a very good-looking guy, I must add. As we get started with the first of two features for the modifieds, it would be the Rocco's Pizza at car number 66 of Ray Horde leading the field to the green, but he would be challenged early by the 14G of Brian Gleason as he would slide into the top spot. Brett Hearn and Kenny Tremont will be side by side as Hearn would be on the move along with the 14B of Peter Britton early, but when Keith Flack goes off the banking in turn number 1, the caution would also come out as Peter Britton would flip in turn number 3 and 4, collecting the 35 of Mike Perotti as well. He'd be okay. He'd take the bow, and we would go back racing. Off the restart, Brett Hearn to the inside of Rich Scalata for position, trying to make a move. He cracked the top 5 very early in this event. Alex Bell right there with Neil Stratton trying to make their way through turn number 3 and 4 as Brett Hearn would try to slice and dice past both of them. He'd get by Ronnie Johnson, and here's Stratton to the outside of Bell. And then before you know it, Hearn would be on the outside of both of them, and he'd take another spot away. Caution will come out for the 36 of Brian Whittemore as he would have to take evasive action to get out of that car. And then it would be Brett Hearn going to work on Horde for the number 2 spot as he would make his way around him on the outside and set his sights on race leader Brian Gleason. Hearn now looking to try to make a move at the front, but Matty D was on the move along with Neil Stratton as they side by side with Ray Horde. And at the same time, Hearn gets by Gleason, and we still got just over half the race to go in this event as Brett Hearn continues to pull away. Brian Gleason and Ronnie Johnson would run for the number 2 spot as Gleason slips up the banking, allowing RJ to get by, but it would be behind Brett Hearn, win number 7 on the season for the Jet. In feature number 2, things will get going. Ray Horde trying to make his way up through the field. Bobby Hackle up at the front as well. Matt DiLorenzo there trying to make his way on the outside up through the field as he would be in a great battle with Alex Bell and Mike Perotti for position. But the cars on the move as cars get together. Tyler Dipple spins and collects a number of cars up through turn number 3 and 4, including C.G. Maury. And it would be the 115 of Kenny Tremont trying to make a bid down the outside lane, getting by Brett Hearn. And he would continue to push through as he get by Mark Kozlowski and be one spot out of the top 5 early. The 3D of Matty D, Matt DiLorenzo, and Bobby Hackle will go on the outside of Matt DePue to take spots number 2 and 1 respectively. And Matt DiLorenzo with a vintage slide job on Bobby Hackle to take the race lead away, opening the door for the SNS Asphalt Paving car number 115 to Kenny Tremont, as now Tremont would slide under DiLorenzo and he would go to the race lead. With Tremont pulling away, Matty D doing whatever he could to try to hold off Brett Hearn for the number 2 spot, but Hearn would get him as Tremont grabs the win. Kenny Tremont picks up the victory in feature number 2. Brett Hearn would finish in 2nd, Matty D 3rd. Mark Johnson coming from the back to 4th, and Mark Kozlowski would round out your top 5. Heading back to feature number 1, it would be the Jersey Jet picking up another one. Ronnie Johnson finishing in 2nd, Neil Stratton 3rd, Matty D 4th, and Mark Kozlowski would finish in 5th. Last time out at Fonda, it was Mark Kozlowski that was the first driver not named Friesen or Varon to reach checkerboard square. Would a 4th different winner be on the horizon? Matt DiLorenzo putting on pie the driver's night as a fan gets to pie Ronnie Johnson. He misses. And then Rocky Warner says, yeah, I don't think so. Oh boy, gotta love the squirrel. Anyway, we get started with the modified feature. C.G. Maury and Alton Palmer up at the front of the field to get this one going as Palmer would take the early race lead. Bodie Bellinger on the move along with Justin Bowler trying to make their way up through the field as Jeremy Wilder in the 24 with a very fast hot rod early in this along with the 00 of Bobby Varon. Car on the move early. You guessed it, the Tad Park's own car number 1, a Stewart Friesen, already by Bobby Varon for spot number 7. Cars will get hooked together as C.G. Morey gets onto the back bumper of Craig Hansen. Ryan Darcy nowhere to go, as that would bring out the caution. A lot of damage to the 14th CG machine. As Darcy gets out of the car, he'd be okay, but a rough trip for him. Off the restart, Bobby Varon with a great move to the top side to crack the top 5, but Stewart Friesen was continuing to plug and chug as he'd move into spot number 2 and look to set sights on Alton Palmer. Varon looking to do whatever he can to get by the 2 RJ of Ronnie Johnson. Meanwhile, at the front, though, here comes Stewart Friesen once again. He would slide to the inside, and he is your new race leader, looking to go away with another feature event victory. Mark Keselowski and Jeremy Wilder still pushing to get up through the field, as now Wilder running down the 76 of Alton Palmer for spot number 3, and then would go to work on Bobby Varon for spot number 2. Varon and Wilder running side by side for position for the number 2 spot, as that time Varon slides up in front of him off of turn number 4. Varon still in lap traffic as now Wilder goes by Darwin Green. Oh yeah, by the way, Stewie's way out in front. Checkered flag is out. Friesen wins another one. Stewart Friesen picking up another victory. Jeremy Wilder would finish in second, Bobby Varon third, Mark Keselowski fourth, and Ronnie Johnson would round out the top 5.
It's now time for this week's Recovery Sports Grill fan poll question. Where do you like to watch the races from? Are you a stands type person? Do you enjoy the action of the pits? Or do you stay home and wait for the results to come to you? Log on to our Facebook page at facebook.com/RaceProWeekly to cast your answer and let us know what you think. Last week, we asked how you thought tracks should run held over features due to rainouts. Megan Tarantino said, run them the following week, double points. Robert Bain said, split them up, running 1 extra feature per week until they are caught up. Gail Chris said, they should definitely be split up because there are so many divisions, and if there are numerous cautions, the night can get to be very long. And Connor Allen went very simple and to the point. Split them up. Coming up on Race Pro Weekly, we check in at Merrittville as the points race starts to heat up in the modified division. And we head to Glen Ridge, who would park their car in victory lane. Find out next on Race Pro Weekly.
Reputable, reliable, results. That's what you get when you call Rick and the professionals at RCT Roofing. Quality service at fair prices. RCT gets the job done. Just like Nick Stone and the RCT Pro Stock. RCT Roofing, we've got you covered.
If you're like me, your to-do list never ends. But with just one phone call, I protect my home, family, pets, and yard all year round. With Northeast Pest Control's Premier Home Protection Program, I don't have to worry about bugs and pests, and I don't have to worry about harsh chemicals either. Now how about that want to-do list? Thanks, Northeast Pest Control.
Ants, termites, mice, or bees, call today for your free estimate.
With Northeast Pest Control, we guarantee you'll live pest-free.
There's only one place in the capital region for you to get the full racing action. Stop down at the Bobco video booth at the track or call 518-399-0937. Bobco Racing Video, the next best thing to being there. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly. With the ultimate upset a week ago by Johnny Lutz at Glen Ridge, the clock was ticking for the old guard to make a return, with the points battle starting to come together. Kitty rides were on the docket at the Glen Ridge Motorsports Park, and I got to imagine the drivers fared a little bit better than I did at Albany-Saratoga, but then again, that doesn't exactly take much. It would be CJ Castelletti and the 53 of Bobby Vetter up at the front of the field, and it would be Vetter taking the early race lead. Craig Hansen would move into the number 2 spot with Jeremy Wilder looking to follow in the 22 machine, and Bobby Varon up on the wheel early on the inside of Justin Bowler as he would take that spot away. Varon looking to crack the top 5 in the early going as he would slide underneath Castelletti. Jeremy Wilder at the same time would look to take the race lead, and he does, getting by the 53 of Vetter. Willie Decker and the 50 of Justin Bowler side by side for position as Decker would look to get by, but then Varon would move in to try to get by Vetter down the back straightaway. He would slide right by him, no problem, as the caution will come out for last week's winner of Johnny Lutz says, hold up, right rear tire up into the air and over the backstretch wall. Oh boy. Off the restart, Willie Decker trying to get a move on the outside as Bowler would drift back. as Jeremy Wilder looking to hold on. Here's Hansen looking to move on the outside as Bobby Varon will be right there. He'd use the 44 of Jeff Kelly as a pick and go underneath the 20 of Craig Hansen to take the number 2 spot away, and now is looking to catch Jeremy Wilder in lap traffic. He will pull right up on the back bumper of him. He'd go high, look to go low. Now they would head through turn number 3 and 4 as Varon would go to the low side with Rockefeller and Jimmy Becker right in front of him. Then on the back straightaway, they both go to split him. Wilder slips up enough, and that allows Varon to go underneath, and it's Varon time once again as he grabs another win. Bobby Varon picking up an exciting victory up on the ridge. Jeremy Wilder would finish in second, Craig Hansen third, Willie Decker fourth, and Bobby Vetter fifth. At the Merrittville Speedway, Chet Brockman holds a narrow point lead over the famed veteran Pete Bicknell in the standings. With the turn of the summer already here, would Mr. Smallblock be able to trim the deficit? Back north of the border we go as Mike Bowman looking to use an older chassis to try to get to victory lane for the first time this season, as the lead would come down to Wayne Kahn and Tommy Flanagan at the drop of the green flag as they'd make their way up in this 35-lap feature event. Scott Wood running with Travis Miller for position. Pete Bicknell right there lurking behind him as cars would make a little bit of contact as Flanagan gets a little out of shape. That allows Wood to drive by him on the outside lane. Here comes Mr. Smallblock, Pete Bicknell to the inside of Wood as at the same time Bowman would go to the inside of Wayne Kahn and he'd take the race lead away as they come down the front straightaway. Bicknell looking to follow, but Wayne Kahn on the outside lane will get enough power to look to take the race lead back, and he grabs it right back from him. But then Bowman to the inside, he'd slide job him up at turn number 2 and retake the race lead again. Billy Dunn and Eric Rudolph in the 19, which has been the 5th different driver in that 19C machine this year, along with the 108 of Bill Bleach, trying to make their way up through the field to be factors in this event. Fast Freddie Carlton, Matt Williamson, and Chet Brockman also on the move as well as Carlton goes to the outside. Now race leader Mike Bowman having trouble. He go off the cushion. That allows Pete Bicknell to slide under him and take the race lead away as Bicknell would start to pull out a big advantage on the rest of the field, but the caution will come out for the 8 of Wayne Kahn. Off of the restart, Mike Bowman gets into it with the 38 of Scott Wood as that would bring out the caution again. And off of this restart, ladies and gentlemen, as they head up into turn number 1 and 2, it would be Bicknell assuming command again as here's Mark Delario on the outside, Eric Rudolph on the inside trying to make things work. Chad Brockman right there as he would get by Delario as caution will come out for Matt Williamson and Tim Jones who get together up in turn number 1 as Jones flips the car. Off of the restart, that would set the stage as Eric Rudolph trying to do whatever he could to get by Pete Bicknell in the final stages. They would drag race down the front straightaway, but for the second time this year, Mr. Smallblock strikes victory. Pete Bicknell grabbing the win, Eric Rudolph finishing second, Chad Brockman third, Bill Bleach fourth, and Tommy Flanagan fifth. Other winners on the night in the Sportsman, it would be Jay Mallory, Jamie Gilbert grabs the win in the open wheel lights, Mark Fawcett in the Hoosier stocks, and Kyle Rothwell in the 4 cylinders.
When we come back, we travel to Albany-Saratoga for a pro stock race fit for a king. And we check in again at Fonda and the Ridge. You don't want to miss any of the action, right here on Race Pro Weekly.
Looking for outstanding service for your car, truck, or SUV? Speed's Garage is a family-run business providing the highest quality of auto care. From routine maintenance, brakes, engine, body, or paintwork, you can trust the professionals at Speed's Garage. Speed's Garage has all the auto service you need, plus full towing for any vehicle. For a championship service, go to Speed's Garage in Mellonville.
Some of the music you've heard on Race Pro Weekly this week is by A.J. Jansen, Country's Rebel Rose, bringing you a mixture of high-energy rock and sultry country roots. To hear more and for your free download, check out ajjansenmusic.com. Performance, quality, service. That's DMC Racing Products. Hundreds of name brand parts, competitive prices. That's DMC. DMC Racing Products, race to win. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly. Race number 2 of the King of Dirt Pro Stock Series made its way into Albany-Saratoga on Friday night. Point leader Nick Stone was looking to strike once again, but would the regulars be up to the challenge? Hey, we got some fireworks. Gotta love them, especially at the racetrack on 4th of July weekend. Jeff Washburn and Kenny Martin lead the 30-lap full-fendered firecracker to the green flag as Washburn would take the early race lead. Walt Brownell and Kenny Martin side by side for the number 2 spot, and the Manimal Nick Stone trying to make his way up in that RCT roofing car number 27 machine. Here's Brandon Amy, last week's winner, on the outside trying to get something to go. As they come down the front straightaway, Rob Yetman looking to crack into the top 3 by getting by Kenny Martin. They make a little bit of contact as Bernie Companion comes out of nowhere out of the pit area. Anyway, we keep it going. Daniel Sanchez on the move. Cale Neary in there as well. As caution will come out for Kenny Martin, who slows. Off the restart, the Melonville Missile. Robbie Speed would go to the front as he get by Nick Stone on the outside, and Rob Yetman looking to follow in that number 3 spot. Walt Brownell 4th, and Daniel Sanchez sits 5th for the time being, as Nick Stone now will go around on the outside and take the race lead back away. Robbie Speed going to muscle him up the racetrack enough to get the lead right back from him as they come off the corner, as caution is out for the 87 of Walt Brownell. Off of that restart, Nick Stone reassumes control as he goes to the outside as Rob Yetman goes around after contact between Jason Casey and Dan Older. Brandon Amy collects in as now it would be Yetman going off on the purple wrecker. Off the restart, the battle up front will continue as here's Robbie Speed and Nick Stone fighting for position as Daniel Sanchez and Kenny Martin into the top 5. Sanchez clips Martin in the quarter panel. That's going to send Martin around, and Sanchez would be sent to the rear for his involvement in the incident. That would set the stage for a great restart once again. Is now Robbie Speed trying to do whatever he can to get by Nick Stone. Kim Dool and Cale Near just inside the top 5 looking to make it work on this weekend, but the RCT roofing number 27, Nick Stone, gets it done in the King of Dirt. Nick Stone picks up his second King of Dirt victory of the season. Robbie Speed finishes in 2nd, Dave DiPaolo 3rd, Cale Near 4th, and Kim Dool would be 5th. Other winners on the night, the Flying Squirrel, Rocky Warner, gets it done in the Sportsman. Limited Sportsman would go to Rob Lanphier, Hunter Sanchez in the Street Stocks, 4-cylinder single cam to Mike Perotti, and 4-cylinder dual cam to Phil DeFiglio. Sportsman action from Glen Ridge as Ray Zemkin and Alyssa Cody would lead the field of the green as Zemkin would take the early advantage. Cars on the move, the 54 of Curtis Hohenscheld, 79 of A.J. Philbeck, and the 14 of Lunchbox Chad Edwards. Ricky Quick and the Palmer Service Center entry on the move as well, along with the 35 of Chris Curtis. Curtis doing a great job holding off Harry Schaefer for the time being as they head down the back straightaway. As meanwhile, A.J. Philbeck trying to run down the 21 of Alyssa Cody for the number 2 spot, as Cody doing a good job of holding him off. Philbeck would go to the outside and get by her as now Lunchbox Chad Edwards would be right on the back bumper as Edwards doing everything he could to get by her, and that's going to allow Curtis Hohenscheld to drop to the inside. Hohenscheld right on the inside lane. He gets caught up as Chris Curtis gets into him a little bit as Ray Zemkin continues to lead this one going away. Meanwhile, here's Alyssa Cody still trying to hold positions away as Johnny Scarborough gets into the back bumper, then hits an implement tire in turn number 1 and 2 as that would bring the caution out. That would bring the field back to Ray Zemkin as now A.J. Philbeck and Chad Edwards would have a shot at your race leader. Brian Pesolano would go to the inside of the 14 of Edwards to try to take the spot away as cars would follow right behind him. A.J. Philbeck still sitting there in second, losing time to the 1Z of Ray Zemkin. The 79 machine of Philbeck still holding on to second, but Ray Zemkin would hold him off and grab the win at the Ridge. Ray Zemkin picks up the win. A.J. Philbeck would be second, Chad Edwards third, Brian Pesolano fourth, and Curtis Hohenscheld would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, Cruisers would go to Cole Lawton, Vintage Modifieds would go to Stan Wetmore, Vintage Sportsman to Doug Mathewson, and Vintage Late Models to Wayne Gage. Matthew Lorenzo going back with parking in the infield at the Fonda Speedway, a treat for the fans. Hey Travis, what's going on? Pro Stock feature event will get started as a gaggle of cars coming down the front straightaway to see who would take home the win in the Pro Stock feature event. Cousin Luke Horning and Jason Casey will be on the move along with the 82 of Cassidy Wilson in the early portion as Gus Hallner would have the race lead. Nick Stone will be on the move as Jason Casey gets caught way out to the top side as cars like Tommy Denton would get by him. As now the 715 of Hallner would continue to lead, but contact between him and the 7 of Jim Normoyle would make things interesting as Normoyle would slide to the inside of Hallner and he'd be your new race leader. Nick Stone would follow suit to take the number 2 spot away. Cassidy Wilson on the inside trying to make his presence known with Luke Horning right there as well. Nick Stone was on the charge along with Chucky Dumbluski as they had caught up to the number 7 of Jim Normoyle. As now Dumbluski trying to make a bid to the inside on the 27 of Stone for the number 2 spot. Domblewski looking like he's almost having him, but now Nick Stone to the inside of Norm Oil for the race leading the RCT roofing entry, trying to find something. Now Domblewski on the top side, going to try to drive right around him, and what a battle for the lead we got here in the Pro Stocks. Nick Stone, though, would find the advantage he needs as he would dive underneath Norm Oil, looking to take the top spot away, and he'd get it. As the cars behind him still trying to push for the spot as Cassidy Wilson comes together with Luke Horning down the front straightaway. Pete Broderson in there now as well, trying to get by Domblewski for position, but all behind Nick Stone, who grabs his second win on the weekend. The Manimal, Nick Stone, strikes again. Jim Normoyle would finish in second, Chucky Domblewski third, Pete Broderson fourth, and Gus Hollner fifth. Limited Sportsman win would go to Nick Scavia. Dave Horning Sr. would win in the Street Stocks, and Stewart Friesen would win the Modified Elimination event as he took down both Ronnie Johnson and Bobby Varon.
It's now time for this week's Berkshire County Network Driver Spotlight with Lebanon Valley Small Block rookie Demetrius Drelos. Race Pro Weekly is brought to you by Bob Hilbert Sportswear, Racing Electronics, Emmerich Associates, Tranquil Touch Healing, New England Racing Fuels, and Sunoco Fuels. Coming up, Fast Eddie sits down with a young Connecticut racer, taking on the best of the best weekly at the Valley of Speed, and we'll hand out our NISCA Performer of the Week. Race Pro Weekly will be right back.
I'm Brian from 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This is my main man, Tom, and my other main man, Tom.
You never know how much junk you've got until you move.
Point to something you wish would disappear.
Would it be possible to... It's gone!
All you have to do is point.
Where have you been all my life?
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
The Choices 301 program takes a multifaceted approach aimed at educating the public about the realities and dangers of what can happen when bad decisions are made inside a motor vehicle. Don't hesitate to designate.
Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly. Now, you remember the last time David Constantino won when he came out with a ghost on his head. Toby LaGrange was a little startled in Victory Lane. Well, heading back to Saturday night at Fonda, the 7 of Dave Constantino going around the 14 of Chad Edwards for the race lead. Late in the event, Edwards would try again to get back by him. But the 7 of Constantino does it again, and, well, let's just say it was a win fit for a king. Yup, there's Constantino all over again. Boy, you never get a dull moment out of that guy, that's for sure. Wonder what he think of next. In the world of racing, many of our smaller dollar teams are family-oriented and have been from the beginning. This is no different with Lebanon Valley modified driver Kyle Armstrong. Our own Fast Eddie caught up with Armstrong on how his season's been going.
Kyle, how long have you been racing in the modified division?
I believe this is our 5th year in the modified division. We started a few years back and kind of been growing and trying to build up our stuff and get better stuff throughout the years, and just try to progress and get better and better each year.
You got a win last season. How big was that to get a win here at Lebanon Valley in the modified division?
It was a huge win for us. We have a lot of competition here, and to win against Brett Hearn and Andy Bicchetti and Kenny Tremont, J.R. Hefner, I mean, it's huge. Hoping to get back there this year. I mean, we have a lot of bad luck, and we seem to got a lot of stuff straightened out lately, so hopefully we'll be back there very soon.
For those who may not know who Kyle Armstrong is, tell us a little bit how you got started in racing and worked your way up to the modifieds.
Well, I started racing go-karts. My father raced go-karts because he grew up around racing, so it was a way to get into it. And then after go-karts, we were wondering where to go, and we came dirt racing just because everybody had a little more respect and raced a little cleaner. So we came here to Lebanon and started out in Sportsman division. had a decent amount of success and decided to make the jump, modifieds, and just trying to improve and learn every year and get better and better.
Tell the fans who may not have ever stepped inside one of these cars what it's like to take a lap around here.
It's hard to explain. It's just a full-on thrill. I mean, the amount of power and the amount of movement these cars makes, and it's a lot of driving. It's a lot of work, and it really gets you. It's not as easy as a lot of people think. You just go fast and turn left, and you're really working and trying different things and getting things to work.
Who do you need to thank for getting you here this season?
I need to give a huge thank to my parents, Mike Petrucci for building the motor, Newtown Pools, Elliott Air, Arthur Howland and Associates, my grandma and grandpa, G&P Auto. A huge thank to my wife Heather and my son Caleb, for putting up with him and taking care of everything while I'm home working on the race car and while I'm at the track. So, thank to all my crew who gets me here every week. And through the good and the bad, they stick with us. So, hopefully we can get some good runs out at the end of the year here.
It's now time for this week's NISCA Performer of the Week award, and with his 2 wins on the weekend, including a King of Dirt victory, who else but the RCT Roofing car number 27 of Nick Stone. The Manimal is now eligible for the Performer of the Year award given out at the end of the season. That's all for this week's show. For the latest news, results, and photos, check out Race Pro Weekly online at www.raceproweekly.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So for myself, Amber Chalmers, Fast Eddie, Scott Morlock, and everyone that helps put Race Pro Weekly together, thank you for watching this week's episode, and we'll see you next time.